representative of a typical Southern California salt marsh. Think of San Diego, think of Los Angeles, where you have hydrogenated water shown here in a teal color, some mud flats shown in light brown, and then various stages of low-growing salt marsh habitat. The bridges underneath the railroad and I-5 have already been designed to accommodate any of these alternatives, so that's not an issue. The key features would have to be added. We need to talk about those. And just again, this is your other walkway piece of those, and this is the Carlsbad Boulevard. So the first feature, in order to get the tidal flow expressed, in order to maintain flood flow coming down, you have to take Carlsbad Boulevard and you widen it out from 25 feet to we've got 100 to out to 110. And you elevate it up 4.5 feet. So you raise up on a bridge structure. This bridge structure right here would allow better flow of water. In order to do that, you also have to raise the road leading up to it. The bridge comes up, the road has to come up and now we go from the south and north side. What it won't do is it won't impact the roundabout itself. So that would not be a concern. So existing bikeways, they would be rebuilt. We're not getting wire, it would still be supported with wire. So it's just raising it up. The new channel would have to be created under this alternative. This is the top picture shows what the current looks like right now. Basically during no flow or no storm events, people walk off the street. During big storm flows, out here. The proposal for a saltwater alternative would have to be a permanent cleanup in this area. The 100 feet wide, and it's both a rock. We're back on the south side, but on the south side as well. On the beach, there would be no flow is not obviously so I think in that case, what you can't do is drive by and see dog things. There's no screen that. Now, what happens to lateral access? Lateral access, and sometimes when the high tides come in, will be impassable. So, on average, if you look at on average, what does that mean? Well, the tides come up and down every day. Also, the sand fills in this inlet constantly, and that's to be maintained. But on average, you have a depth of water being 0, meaning you have no problems, it's dry, you can walk right across, to 5 feet. That's just expression of the tides. On our big spring tides, and our king tides, we would have over 6 feet of water in there. So what we try to do is the best we could of taking from the existing inlet what that kind of would look like. So this would be an area you could walk right across it and no problems. This would be an area where it's a little more challenging. And this gentleman here, you can hardly see, he's up to his waist already, and I'm not sure if he went out to sea or if he made it, but we have a picture of him. So this gives us a problem of how often then can you cross this? There's no standard for what significance is, but we use 1.5 feet. Anytime the water was above, anytime the water was above 1.5 feet, it would be what we call a significant impact. Why 1.5 feet? Why not 2 feet? Well, it's subjective, but it's also, if it's above your knee, about 1.5 feet, or you're trying to drag kids along across the beach, that 1.5 feet seems to be a good significance threshold. So 37% of the time, the water would be above that 1.5 feet on average. So this creates what we call a significant impact. So what we do about significant impacts is we have to identify mitigation measures. So to mitigate this lateral access issue, the proposal is to create a pedestrian bridge. This is an illustrated example. It's not designed yet, but this is an example of what it could look like. That pedestrian bridge high enough so that if has to be built high enough so the flood flows can go under it. It also can't be built too close to the surf, because if you put it on the beach, the surf will break it up, it'll knock it out and put it into the houses and the stuff. So the location that's being proposed is this area by the we go on private property to the south. Well, we need a bridge. The bridge is required for mitigation. We talk about the hybrid alternative. Hybrid is actually elements of fresh water, elements of see that we've actually been creating alternatives elements of the streets and stuff. There's one feature that I want to put out there in consideration is design option. And that design option, as I said, that created here is on state. One of the things we heard from stakeholders in the Weir Basin is they didn't want to have water high. So as an option to consider, we created all that is that would on high tide you wouldn't see it. It's covered by water. Whereas high flood located on the here, it would be allowed to go down further. But the water within your basin would stay about the same. You only got a foot exchange of water. Why you need to have that foot exchange is to keep the water quality up. So it's a way of trying to accommodate that desire to have a stable water in that Weir basin. Again, it's just a design option. It can be included or not included, and it can also be included in the saltwater. So we're going to get a lot of material. Material means sediment. It also means muck. And that top 4 feet of muck I talked about. So there's a couple of things that we can do. After the vegetation is removed, the project will be dried and taken to a green waste facility in Oceanside for use. But then you're left with, what do you do with that muck? And you've got 2 big choices here. The first choice is you take all that muck and you ship it all the way out down here to a place called LE5. It's just an offshore disposal site you can use for disposal of the material. And I want to say that the material itself is not hazardous. It's not heavy metals or pesticides that we've been able to find. It's just muck. It's got a lot of nitrogen loading, and it's got a lot of fine silts. But there's another option that we've explored, and that's to take this same muck, move it aside, and get underneath that. Underneath that's good quality sand. So it's that sand that can be used for what we call reuse. Used to say you can put it on the beach. So one option is to move that muck aside, scoop out a big hole in the middle of that post-highway basin, extract that sand, reuse it on the beaches over here in Oceanside, and then put the muck back in the hole and cover it with good quality layer sand. It's not anything new, it's been done before, and it's actually a nice way to actually keep the sand on the beaches. The current proposals, Sandag actually did an EIR and actually created a regional beach sand project 2 times. So we use the same footprint that we previously used before. So this has been analyzed in the EIR as well. Complicated slide. I know it's in the EIR, but we're trying to go full circle around. I want to just point out that there's types of impacts that we technical wants call not significant, less than significant, betweens are not a problem. There's also impacts that are mitigated, meaning you can take that impact, yes, it's got a problem, but you can mitigate it to below that level of significance. And then finally, you got these red ones. And I want you to kind of envision this alternative, or this project as a remodel. You're going to be remodeling a lagoon, kind of like remodeling a kitchen. You're going to have to live with the inconvenience on a temporary basis for some while they do construction. But then after that is done, after that period of construction is completed, then that temporary impacts go away. So if you see a significant T, that means it's a significant impact and temporary. And I want you to think about like noise or air quality. Those are significant temporary impacts. You also have permanent impacts. Those are significant and permanent impacts. Now I already kind of gave you an example of one, which would be having the no project alternative, letting it go, and having the cattails come in. That would be considered a significant impact and permanent to like water quality, impact controls. The big thing about this slide, I don't want to expect you to look at this and memorize it, is that the no project is not an alternative that is considered environmentally superior. It is actually the worst thing you can do. So I once heard that the term of any restoration is good restoration. This shows that in our analysis that is true. All the alternatives perform better than the no project alternative. And that's the main selling point for this project. For the next steps, today is about getting information to you. It's not about making decisions about which alternative is best and which one is going forward. They're all going forward. But we're trying to solicit comments from you, get your input on the document, the EIR document. We will respond to those comments. We respond to every comment we get. We will revise the technical draft EIR. Every comment will be addressed in that. Prepare it for probably final EIR. That final EIR will be made available. And then we will initiate discussions both with the property owners and also with the wildlife agency and regulators to have permanent forest. Not just the owners of the property, it's also the agencies that give permits for doing this thing. All that comes together into a Sandag Board of Directors meeting, which I'm always asked for when will that occur. I'm always reluctant to tell you exact dates. It's much dependent upon you and how many comments you give back as it is upon us. But this will go forward in the Sandag Board. It's an open public workshop, and that will be the time where you voice your opinion about which alternative you want to go forward. And that will be the decision makers, which are the 18 mayors in the county of San Diego and the board of supervisors. So how do you get any comments today? There's ways of providing comments tonight. You've seen the comment cards already, the comment boxes. Fill out a comment. We have a court reporter over here. If you want to give oral testimony, she will type that in and provide comments. If you want to go back and think about it, you can document the executive summary more. You can email or mail comments to us. And you can do that. Our assistant program manager in the back, Lauren Washington, this is her address and her email. And you can email her and or mail her a letter of comments. We've already received some comments. Thank you very much. Again, we value each and every one of your comments. The draft EIR, a big binder, is located in several places. It's located at both libraries in Carlsbad, at the Dove and the Full Library. We talked a lot today about the draft EIR. One of the other things that was really requested of us was to put the costs. How much does these various alternatives cost? We've got a preliminary cost estimates from our engineers. We placed that online. And then finally, we said, well, there's the cost, there's the environmental impacts, what's missing from all this? The EIR does a great job, and CEQA does a great job of identifying impacts, but we're not building something that's like a highway or a housing development. This is going to be a good thing this time. So there's a benefits. So we put a document up here, which is the benefits of the various alternatives on a side-by-side comparison. So you can take this information, it's the same information we have, do your cost-benefit analysis, as well as taking in consideration the EIR. So that documents are available for you. Tonight again is thank you for coming out. I'm going to turn the meeting back over to Natalia. I'm going to turn the meeting back over to Natalia, and then I'll help explain how we're going to address all of the comments. Because there's about 150 people here tonight, and we have experts in all the subject matters. Natalia, please.
Thank you, Keith. So at this time, I'm going to draw your attention back to the program. And what we're going to do is we're going to open up the open house again. We're going to put the boards all the way back up on the easels. We're going to remove those chairs to make that room available for you. We have so many of the technical experts that researched and authored this document here today to respond to your questions and listen to your comments. We are only taking written comments and comments to the court reporter tonight. All of your comments are incredibly important to this project, so we urge you, if you have something to say some feedback to provide, to do that to the court reporter, or again, to write them down and submit them either tonight or via email or mail later on. Again, if you haven't received one of these programs, it has all the information on how you can submit the comment, and it also tells you what the layout of the space is today and what kind of information